Because there's a conversation already.
Yes, there is. One vote for Salty so far. Okay, let's see.
Sweet.
Okay, commercials.
Oh, and I forgot.
Yep. Right? Commercials. It's YouTube. And I turned on monetization. Okay.
Where's that hole?
The original fragrance, the new Paco Rabanne fragrance. Alright. I've used Tommy Hilfiger, by the way, for a very long time already. Well, not a very long time, but I used it way before in my youth, and I've been using it. Alright, I have video, I have audio. It's the Nazarite bringing you Hebrew lore from days of yore. Stargazer's here, and Dev Coffee is here. Robert Harrison is here. Kevin Spence is here. Don't yid me, bro. Well, what else am I gonna do? That's kind of my thing. Thinking Time is also here. People, the poll. What's going on? We've got 2 votes, salty and healthy, 50-50 so far. What's the best kind of snack? You guys tell me. Now, stolen, it's Proverbs 9:17, was it? 9:17. That stolen water tastes good, and stolen bread and stolen water
are disgusting.
Do you like Palestine? Says Asa Mohammed. I mean, what do you mean to like Palestine? Are you talking about a people? Are you talking about a place? I want peace with Palestine. That's what I would like. Happy Woden's Day, says New Dog. Hey, New Dog. Hey, my father. Yes, my father is here. Hey, Pa. He says, hey, sonny boy. Hello, Pa. It's good to see you. Dev Coffee says it is very hot in Texas today. I've been out with the dogs since this morning. So what, you've gone on a hike? What's going on?
Hey, sonny
Robert
boy.
says, much love from North Carolina to you, Achi. He asks, do you believe if you own a business you should work, or your church or synagogue, or should be kept separate? What do you mean, if you own a business you should work? I'm not sure what you mean, Robert. Could you clarify? I'm really not sure. All right, 5 votes in. Salty beating healthy. 4-1, 80% to 20. All right. What is it? Excuse me? No, thank you. It's all good. It's all good. Dev Coffee says, yes, well, not exactly a hike, more a long walk through the woods. That's nice. There's nothing quite like a long walk through the woods. I haven't done that in a very long time.
The Netherlands.
Yeah, I suppose since the Netherlands. That's the last time I took a long walk through the woods.
We took a long walk.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Okay. Asa Mohammed, do you like Palestine? That is a question. To you. Stargazer says, the other day you left an impression, and I have thought of you and your family ever since, sending peace and love. Thank you, Stargazer. I appreciate it. Peace and love to us all. May we know peace. May we know love. May we know prosperity. And may bloodshed and war be taken away and lifted clean off of creation, out of creation, even right now as I'm speaking these words.
Can I put this in here?
Shorgogo says, you Rasta? No, I'm not a Rasta, although the Rastas do take a vow, a Nazarite vow. That's what they base part of their way of life on. And I do share some of the values and ways of life, let's say, with the Rastafari, but I don't worship Rastafari as a god, nor do I see myself as a member of that church, because they originate, let's say, in the Ethiopian Orthodox tradition of Christianity. I am not a Christian. Bo said, wash that hair, bet that house stinks. No, I do wash it regularly, so the house doesn't stink. Also, my kid just left and he was spraying some cologne, so I suppose I smell a bit like Tommy. San says, Iran has sent their new list of demands for U.S. surrender. Well, good luck to Iran. Tolga. All right, church is just human, says Shore. Yeah, well, what do you mean? I know that people do say that the original churches, the Orthodox and the Catholic churches, were sort of brought down by divine revelation, let's say, or some. Right, and that the first pope was. You know what? I don't know enough about the origins of Catholicism or the Orthodox Church, so I won't speak of it. Salam alaikum, says Darkside Phantom. I'm a fan of Darkside. What? Wait, no. Hey, don't touch the monitor. Don't touch.
I saw it turn on.
Okay. Thomas is here. Hey, Thomas, do you believe in the building of the third temple and the destruction of the Al-Aqsa Mosque? Well, no, I think that we can transcend the need for a physical building. We ourselves can be the temple. We ourselves can be the sacrifice. We ourselves can be the ritual worship. Also, if there will be a third temple, it will be one where we have already come together, God willing, as a unified human race, and the third temple will be a house of prayer and love and worship for all humanity, for all nations, which means that whether the Al-Aqsa Mosque remains and the temple is built over it, or whether the Al-Aqsa Mosque is destroyed and the temple is built on its ruins, I don't know how it will happen. Do I believe in it? No, I don't believe in it. If it comes to pass, it comes to pass. I don't think it should come at the expense of a different house of worship. I don't know how it will go down or if it will indeed come to pass, because I don't say, I don't think we require the temple. If it will come to pass, I hope it's out of love and out of, embracing each other and our humanity. Ramunatu says, Revelations, know your tribulations and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the ones that they say they are Jews, but are the synagogue of Satan. So yeah, Romanato, I've heard Christians say this about Jews. I've heard Christians say this about other Christians. What do you think? What do you good people think? Who is the synagogue of Satan? I spray farted, says E-Dog. Well, hopefully you were on the bowl at the time, or at least sitting inside of a urinal, although that's not proper toilet etiquette. Hopefully it wasn't in your shorts. If it was in your shorts, I would change your clothes. Yeah. Shore says, every human institution is bad, religion good, church bad. I don't know what that means. Punctuation, people. It saves lives. E-Dog says, ciao. All right, man. Good luck with the spray farting. We don't need a house to pray to the Creator. I agree. That's precisely why I say we can transcend that physical temple. We can transcend the physical worship. It's us. E-Dog says, did you ever hear of the true story of the fart that killed 10,000 Jews? If you don't believe me, Google it. It goes the following. Well, let's say that fart would have to be something major. I don't know who actually carried out that fart or what they were eating. Ninjas. Maybe the fart ninjas did it. That's correct. Asim says, can I visit Masjid al-Aqsa? Well, what do you mean? It depends. It depends on the circumstances, Asim. There are times when you can definitely visit it, and there are times when you can't. But it depends on the nature of the time, whether there are any security concerns, or whether it's a certain holiday or not. Sophia says, free Palestine. I agree. Free Palestine from Hamas. Free Palestine from their bloodthirsty, warmongering, extremist leadership that doesn't give a crap about Palestinians and, just takes all the money and makes themselves rich, don't invest in any kind of safety or infrastructure, and, spends it on terror tunnels and munitions and giving it to the families of shahidim who died killing Jews. Do you smell how you look? Asks Prince Charles. Well, Your Majesty, no, I don't smell how I look. I suppose not. But many would say that's a good thing. I mean, sometimes I do smell how I look, so yeah. Let's see. Let's go, what's going on? 30 votes so far. Salty, 30%. Sweet, 20%. Healthy, 37%. Who knew? And stolen, 13%. Oh, wait, I gotta mute my phone. Hang on a second. Wait, no. Also, wait, excuse me. Wait, no. Also, this might go in directions where I don't want you near here, so maybe go, Not right now, but I'll let you know. Okay, let's see. Cashless Clay. Hey, Cashless Clay. Do you think the formation of Israel post-World War II is a fulfillment of prophecy? An interesting question. Let's put it this way. Not of prophecy. It's not a fulfillment of prophecy. It's simply fulfillment of the words in the Torah. So if you choose to say that Moses brought down the Torah and Moses as the father of prophets, everything written in the Torah is prophecy, I suppose. But no, not necessarily. Not necessarily. It was just straight up Torah. Biblical Zionism as it's laid out in the book of Deuteronomy, which says you will transgress and you will get kicked out of the land, but then you will return to the land. So if you consider the words of Torah themselves to be prophetic, yes. But if you consider them to be simply things that were written in the Torah and not necessarily prophecy in those verses, then no, it's not prophetic. It's just straight up Torah. Satanism is just idol worship, change my mind. No, new dog or new doge. I still haven't figured it out. Is it a hard G or a soft G? No, Satanism is twofold. First of all, there's devil worship, but that's not what Satanism is. Satanism, as like, let's say, LaVeyan Satanism and the Church of Satan and the Church of Seth in the modern day era, is simply a humanistic approach that was sort of parodying religion, making fun of the religious establishment and the religious organizations. So that is not idol worship, that's a very humanistic thing. But Satanism is idol worship? If you erect a statue, or make a tree, or have some sort of a sigil, and you say, this is my God, then yes, and you call it Satan, I suppose that is Satanism and idol worship. I don't know if I'm going to change your mind, nor do I seek to do so, but which Satanism do you mean? Do you mean, let's say, the LaVeyan modern day Satanism, or do you mean the devil worship, killing, slaughtering cats at midnight in a graveyard sort of thing, which I know is not a thing? Okay. E-Dog says, a Roman soldier farted into a group of Jews, and it was enough for the Jews, created riot attacked, resulting in the return attack and the death of 10,000 Jews. How interesting. That is very interesting indeed. Okay, let's continue. Meowth? Oh, Meowth. Is that Meowth from Pokemon? I think I remember there was some sort of a Meowth or something like that with Team Rocket. You give me the vibe of a character from the cartoon Common Side Effects. Interesting, I don't know that one. Not that I know all the cartoons. But, okay, cool. Telvani says, who can gaze into the mirror without becoming evil? The mirror does not reflect evil, but creates it. What is this in reference to, Mage? I'm curious. Who can gaze into the mirror without becoming evil? Well, does not reflect, but create. I don't know what you're saying. Could you dumb it down for me? I'm ignorant. Explain it to me like I'm 5. Maybe I'll get it then. Okay. Modern day, it's all image-based nonsense. No, that's not true. As far as I know, modern day Satanism is not image-based. It's a set of rules, very humanistic in nature, which basically says, do as thou wilt, and don't cause damage to others, right? There are, how many principles? 7 or 10 principles, at least of LaVeyan Satanism. I don't know about the Church of Seth or other forms of modern-day Satanism, but I don't think it's all image-based. I think you're mistaken if it comes to modern-day Satanism. As for things like devil worship and, and demonic, all kinds of demonic practices that I know nothing about, I don't know. Maybe there is a lot of image basis, but not in modern-day Satanism. I don't think so. Jay says, this guy talks too much. Oh, you're darn tootin' right. By all means, skip away, scroll away, swipe away, whatever it is that you want to do. I deeply appreciate you staying so far. Yeah. Okay. If you gaze into the abyss, it will gaze into you. Right, was that Nietzsche? I think it was Nietzsche, right? Friedrich Nietzsche? The thing is this. Gazing into abyss is eventually gazing into yourself. So when they say that the abyss will gaze into you, it's sort of like you get out of it what you put in. And even if you're not aware of it, right? Even on a near unconscious level, let's say, or totally unconscious level, it will reflect to you that which you are. It's like in the movie The Never-Ending Story, where he stands in front of the mirror, or like in Harry Potter, right, with the Mirror of Erised, where it reflects what you truly want more than anything. Something like that. Comb your hair, says Mushrifa. Nope, Nazarites do not comb or brush their hair. I'm allowed to use my fingers, but I don't do that either, at least not of late. Let's go to the poll. 57 votes. 57 votes. Ooh, healthy and salty, neck and neck. Stolen, 16%. All right, coming in hot. And sweet, 22%. A super chat came in. Let's go with that. We pay this man to talk too much. You're not paying me. It's all going to charity. Once I get the tax thing in order, it will all go to charity. So far, you guys have raised, I think by now it's about $800 or just over $800. Like I said, I need to get the AdSense and YouTube information aligned, and then I'll have the poll, and you can choose by likes which charity to give to, or to split it up, or I don't know. But either way, yeah, definitely. Don't you shower, says Mushrifa? I do. I shower on a regular basis. Hang on a second, a quick. Forest fruit. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu, melech ha'olam, she'akol nihye b'dvaro. Oh, that's the good stuff. Okay. Let's continue going down. Are you okay? Says Strathcona Pokemart. Pokemart or Pokemart? Am I okay? Look, we're in the middle of a war. The siren could blare at any minute. I could get an incoming missile notification and have to go. So far, yes. God will, by the grace of the Most High God, I am doing okay. If I can sit here Wednesday evening with a cup of tea in my own home, that means that things are okay. Things are better than okay. I had a bit of a chaotic therapy session earlier today. I may have to take a break from therapy for like a month while this war thing works itself out. I hope I won't have to. Yehudi Atheist says, Ani kotev sefer, I'm writing a book. What's the book about, Yehudi Atheist? Please tell me. I'm curious. Bro thinks he's Vsauce, XDS. I don't know what Vsauce is, man. People tell me that. I don't know what that is. I have not looked it up. All right. Let's see. Did you steal that house from a Palestinian family, says Multi? No. First of all, no, I did not. This was a no man's land before 1967. And also, Jews did not steal Palestinian land. Only on very fringe settlements did that actually occur, and I condemn that. And I think that that is illegal. But, as I say many, many times, three major things happened mainly. The first is that this land was bought and paid for in full, and the Arabs, the Muslims, the Palestinians, because Jews were also Palestinians, and they had a Palestinian passport when the Brits were here, so they are also Palestinians. And also they were here, and that is what the Romans called this place, because they wanted the Jews to forget about Judea. And so Jews are the original Palestinians. They were the ones who had the name changed by the Romans to Syria Palestina to spite the Jews. At any rate, I digress. First, it was either bought and paid for in fullness. Second, it was either taken by the spoils of war, of a war that Israel did not start. Third, it was vacated willingly by Palestinian people who were told by the leaders of the nations surrounding us, go, leave your homes, you'll be back in a few days after we slaughter all the Jews. So those were the three major ways in which Jews came to own or come into being inside of a home that was Palestinian or used to be Palestinian or is Palestinian, and they are also Palestinians. As for those that do steal homes and try later to make it legal, I am not a fan of that. That is not a good thing. There are certain fringe settlements that I think are illegal locally, internationally, and that should be dealt with as such. But those are fringe settlements and probably not what you're talking about, multi-8H. Did you steal your home? You do know that all countries and all nations are filled with blood. You are aware of this. You have read some history, that everything is taken by conquest. Everything was liberated by somebody from somebody, right? Okay. Your hair makes you less thin. Can you afford food? What does that mean, Celia? Your hair makes you less thin? I don't know what that means. Yes, I, thank God, can afford food indeed. Okay, let's continue. Do you support genocide? No, Carling, I do not support genocide. And the only genocide that is actually ongoing is the genocide against the Hebrew people in Israel. We have no genocidal intent against those around us. We are fighting a defensive war. If we wanted to genocide the people around us, then the war would be over in about 2 or 3 days. But that's not the way that it happens. Furthermore, the population around us in Gaza and in the West Bank of the Jordan is continuously growing, which means that if we are genociding the poor Palestinian people, we're doing a terrible job, and it's not a good genocide at all. Okay. Go back to Poland, says Sophia. Really? And where do you think we arrived into Poland from? Let's think. Jews, where do they come? Judea, that's right. And where am I? Judea. Ding, 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 ding. Very good, Sophia. Are you in Jerusalem now? Asks Soup Sandwich. Soup Sandwich. Yes, I am. How is the Iran issue? It's an issue. We have missiles coming in all the time here up north, down south. There's a ton of mixed news out there. Well, look, our army and the U.S. Army are fighting, trying to get the, the objectives of the war are one thing, and the unspoken objectives are another thing. So basically it's a war. It's a war. And far be it from me to say, is it a just war? Is it an unjust war? I'm just one small little dumbass in the Middle East with a phone. I don't know what goes on. I don't know the nature of the geopolitical anything, right? I know that Iran has sworn to wipe Israel and the United States off the face of the map. I know that they have been building towards nuclear weapons for a very long time and always getting thwarted by the US and Israel. So if that's what needs to be done, I believe that is what needs to be done. On the other hand, I don't support the killing of innocent civilians, and I don't really know what's going on in Iran, what news is coming out, what news is coming to me. By the time the news reaches my eyes and my ears and into my mind, it's already engineered, edited, censored propaganda. So I can't believe everything I hear in the news, not locally, not internationally. But how is the Iran issue? It's a war. Unfortunately, we are very, very much used to wars and emergency situations. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I hope and pray for peace. You guys are thieves and murderers, says Sophia Glove. Well, you know what you can do with that attitude? Keep it to yourself, or, if you want, you can continue spewing your bile. Incidentally, Jews that are thieving lands should be put on trial and judged. If they're found guilty, they should face whatever consequences. Jews who are murderers, whether they are civilians or in the army, should definitely be put on trial, and the punishment should be enacted. I believe in justice, and I believe you can't have peace without justice, right? So I am for justice for the civilian population. The thing is that the civilian population in Gaza and in the West Bank of the Jordan is ruled and governed by bloodthirsty, warmongering leaders who are growing fat on the money that they don't give the population. They are suffocating and oppressing the population. And I feel for the Palestinian population that is actually literally innocent, who did not choose this war, who are stuck between a rock and a hard place, right? Between the state of Israel and the IDF on the one hand, and their own murderous, extremist religious governments and leadership and terrorist regimes on the other hand. And the terrorist regimes, right, be it the Palestinian Authority, Hamas, Fatah, Al-Aqsa Brigade, Hezbollah up north in Lebanon, they will gladly sacrifice, I've said this before, every man, woman, and child for the cause. They will gladly sacrifice them because they are a sickening death cult who glorifies death, who revel in bloodshed. That is what they want. So thieves and murderers, Sophia Glove, should indeed be put to trial, and justice should be served, because there will be no peace without justice. And if it means justice for the Israelis, then yes, justice for Israelis who did wrong, I condemn those actions. If there are Israelis who committed crimes, war crimes, crimes against humanity, I condemn those actions and I condemn those people. It should not have been done. But people don't seem to realize that we are in a defensive war against our annihilation. And sometimes, in order to, right, if you want peace, prepare for war, right? Parabellum. And so we are now preparing for war all the time. Unfortunately, this is our lot. It's our lot. And I must say in this context, the Palestinian leadership has rejected about a dozen or so peace agreements at every time that there was something that was going to be put in front of them to sign, so this peace process can actually move forward. They have rejected it outright. Our Light of Hope says, I want to wish you a good day and to tell you all that there is only one King. His name is Lord Christ. He loves you all. Well, that's very nice. I appreciate that one light, our light of hope. Thank you. Okay, let's continue. Wait, another super chat came in? Wish I could have a proper chat with you over coffee and cake anytime you're in Yorkshire, UK, let me know. Thanks, RDR, I appreciate it. We can have a chat here, or you can hit me up in the DMs. People, if I miss your chat in the chat, it's not because I'm ignoring you. It's not because I'm intentionally not paying attention. It's because there's a lot of chat going on, a lot of things coming in. Hit me up if you want in the DMs. Hebrew Nazarite. Look for my tree on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, and on Twitter. Twitter? Yes, I'm on Twitter as well. So yeah, hit me up. I don't post there, but I am there for the DMs. So yeah, definitely look me up if you want to talk one-on-one. I'm always up for some good conversation if I can afford the time. Okay, YouTube account says, you pretend peace was rejected and not ensured by making ridiculous demands. False. And you know what? Let's grant that proposition and say that up until the year 2000, it was all ridiculous. Let's go with that. All ridiculous. Why should the Palestinians settle? In about the year 2000, the Gazans and the West Bank, right, the Palestinians were offered East Jerusalem as their capital, nearly all of the West Bank, if not all of it, and nearly all of Gaza, if not all of it. The three major things, East Jerusalem, Gaza, West Bank, they said no. They said no. They rejected this offer. Yasser Arafat would not meet with it. Was it Ehud Barak or Ehud Olmert, whoever was prime minister then, one of the Ehuds, and it was rejected by Arafat. And when there was the Oslo Accords, which I was very happy about, there was a real tangible kind of hope for peace in the air, it went to shit really quickly, and the Palestinian police, to which we gave weapons and arms, turned them against Israel. So you're saying 99% doesn't matter if the last 1% is shit. See, that's an all-or-nothing absolutist mentality. To that I say, that is wrong. It's a step-by-step process. It was called the peace process, right? Agreements, right? Peace is made in such ways. Look what Israel has done. Israel gave away tons of territory for peace. That is how peace is made. Concessions. That's how it's made. Might I remind you, good people, that Israel accepted the partition plan, and it was the Arabs, the Muslims, the leadership, that rejected it. Okay. Let's continue scrolling down in the chat. Do you realize you're brainwashed? The world hates you. Jack Crispy says. Well, let's put it this way. I try to be critical to the best of my ability of the IDF, the government, the establishment here in Israel. So I don't follow Zionism blindly. I don't follow the IDF or the government or the Israeli establishment blindly. I know how to be critical. On the other hand, I'm not a dumbass. I mean, I am a dumbass, but I'm not a dumbass like that, which means that if I'm brainwashed, tell me, how am I brainwashed? Everything I've spoken right now is fact. Look it up. Fact check me if you want. Push back against me. Challenge me. But bring credible sources, not Al Jazeera, right? Bring me actual sources. We can have a conversation. There were times, several times, when I've been fact checked, once or twice at the very least, on this channel, and I conceded and I said, yes, that's right. And I even highlighted that person's comment, and I made a comment on the following live stream for people to go check that out. I don't mind being proved wrong. I really, really don't. It makes me that much wiser for the experience. And I'm ignorant of so many things. I don't claim to know more or understand more or have any more knowledge. Nothing of the sort. I do live here, so it grants me some sort of cachet, but I wouldn't set that necessarily against people who are actually bringing facts to the table. And I'm willing to concede when I'm wrong. But don't just bring an outlier, right, and say, oh yes, that's the general thing. No, that's not the way things go. So am I brainwashed? Possibly, but I make it a point not to be brainwashed. I make it a point not just to follow the Israeli Zionist national narrative. I make it a point to also look at other points of view in order to get a synthesis of things and get a fuller picture and a wider understanding, because I understand that looking at one narrative by definition rules out all others. And that is a faulty way of thinking, because your enemies, let's say, might tell you something you don't know, and your adversaries might tell you something you don't know, or something your government has been censoring, or something. Do you see what I mean? So there's a lot of value in listening to other people. So simply saying, oh, you're brainwashed, no, I'm not. But go ahead and think that if you want. So do I realize I'm brainwashed? Yeah, definitely. What's this stream about, says Screws Lose. This is, religion, spirituality, self-development, psychology, and, anything of the sort that comes up. A Q&A from Jerusalem. Okay. Shizzle sticks. How different ways can you say the same thing? You absolute bore. Move it along. Well, what do you mean? You guys move it along. Come on. Give me something to work with here. Are you Zionists? See, it's all about either Jesus or Palestine. So you know what? This live stream, I've been talking for about 30 minutes. No more Jesus and no more Palestine from now until the end of this live stream. Let's keep going. I'll pick up the Jesus-y Palestine stuff in the next one. Right now, yeah, thanks. Right now, we will go for other sorts of questions. Love from Canada, turn them all to glass, says the flying Holstein cow. See, I don't want to turn them all to glass. I want there to be peace. You can't make peace with glass. You can make peace with enemies. You can make peace with people. You can make peace with humans. I don't want to turn Gaza into a parking lot. I don't want to eliminate every single... I said I'm not going to talk about Palestine. It's unavoidable. But okay. So from now... From now. Let's continue. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Very comfortable time to move on. You don't want peace, ha? No YouTube account. I have 700 videos on YouTube. Some of them videos, some of them live streams. For the majority of them, Palestine comes up, and I do not shy away from answering. So screw you, and go check out the other videos I have. That's it. Okay, let's continue. What's your most satiating vegan snack? Says, oh, hi, Mark. Hi, Mark. What's the most satiating vegan snack?
What's satiating?
That fills you? That's a good question. I mean, something like a bruschetta, that's like toasted bread with garlic and parsley and, you know. Will you smoke a joint with Can't Decide on Me, says New Dog. Well, I don't smoke anymore, so no, I won't. But I'm not ruling it out in the future. Maybe in the future. Let's continue. Do you think the Shroud of Turin is real or man-made? See, that's again Jesus stuff. I'm going to move on. Let's talk about sex and drugs, says Lord of the Pancakes. Okay, let's talk about sex and drugs. What do you have to say, Lord of the Pancakes? Hit me. America First, this is one of the craziest live streams on YouTube, and I love it. Yeah, it's fun. I truly enjoy it. Every time that I hit the Go Live button, and I get to have this with you good people, it's so much fun. It's not for naught that I say that it enlivens me and nourishes me and sustains me and strengthens me, and you know, there's an energy here that I really truly love, and it's you good people who are making it happen. Because back when I was talking simply to the screen without anybody there, whether it's a live stream or a video, it was a different energy. This one is much more dynamic. This one is much more, it's like lovely, right? Because it's live and it's raw with all of its faults and all of the mistakes and all of the ums and ahs and oohs and whatnots. Is Seinfeld on TV in Israel? Well, I have a screen. I don't have cable. I don't have satellite. I don't have any channels. I have a TV, you know, for Netflix or projecting or casting from a different device. But I would venture a guess and say, yes, Seinfeld is definitely on ad nauseum. And a good thing, too. I'm a Seinfeld fan. Okay. Kane says, hello, can you define a Nazarite for us not familiar with such things? The Nazarite is a man or a woman who has taken on the Nazarite vow. There are 4 different types of Nazarites, 3 of them, or 2 or 3 of them in Numbers 6, and the Samson Nazariteship, that's the one I took, in the book of Judges, in the story of Samson. Okay, let's continue. Are your locks due to religion or just because you like them? Yes, I stopped combing and stopped brushing my hair, and these are natural Nazarite dreadlocks. That's all that they are. So I suppose, yes, due to religion. Wash yourself, I can smell you in Belgium, only Fran says. Well, thanks. Hello in Belgium. I hope you're having a good evening. I do wash myself regularly. Otherwise, my woman would not touch me, nor would my kids hug me. So, you know, and plus my coworkers would go, ooh. And, you know, I don't want to do that. That's not cool. To subject other people to your BO. And I love my BO when it's in measure. I don't mind it. If it becomes too much, then I go, okay, I got to do something, whether it's deodorant or whether it's showering. And it's not that I wait until I stink so much and then shower. I shower fairly regularly. But, no, I do wash myself and I do not stink. If you can smell me in Belgium, please tell me, only France, how do I smell? I'd love to hear an outsider's opinion. Okay, let's continue. Just found you. Who are you? Says Teta Teta. Who am I? Who are we indeed? You answer the question. You posed the question. You answer it. Who are you, Teta Teta? Answer me. In the meantime, 237 votes with people loving the salty snacks behind it. Stolen, 27%. A healthy snack is the best kind of snack, say 26% of you. And sweet, only 17. Not many sweet tooth individuals among you, 240 votes. All right, stolen at 27%. I like it, good people. Let's keep it going. Do all Nazarites have knotted hair? No. The Nazarites that I've known, some of them have dreadlocks. Some of them use their fingers to manipulate the hair and to separate. And so some of them have dreadlocks. Some of them have congos. And some of them have straight hair that they mess around, you know, and they separate and they fiddle with their hair with their fingers, which is allowed, that we're just not allowed to use any combs, no brushes, no tools to manipulate the hair. So some Nazarites have locks, some Nazarites have more uniform locks than others if they separate, some have congos like mine, and some have straight long hair because they comb it with their fingers, which is allowed. What you are not allowed to do is intentionally rip out hairs for the sake of ripping out hairs. That goes against rabbinic law. Okay, let's continue. What exactly is a Nazarite? Aiden asks, Aiden Patman, a Nazarite is a man or a woman who took on a Nazarite vow, as it's said in the Bible. That's what it is. America First, does Hashem like watching people have sex? How can he see through our roofs? What if I'm in a cave? Well, I don't know what Hashem likes or does not like. Hashem means the name. It's a way to address God. I don't know what God is or isn't, what he likes or doesn't like. All I know is how God reveals himself to me. I don't know God, right? So I can't answer your question. What do you think, good people? Does God like watching people copulate? You answer me. So you can't cut your hair ever, asks Bayron. No, the Nazarite vow is for life, and there is no annulling the vow, so I hope to go to my grave still under this vow, and never to cut my hair, nor to brush it, nor to comb it, or anything of the sort. Other types of Nazarites can periodically cut their hair, or a Nazarite for a set period of time is allowed to cut his or her hair when their vow is fulfilled, when their days are fulfilled, and they bring the proper offerings at the temple. However, since nowadays there is no temple standing in Zion, all Nazarites who take that vow are de facto for life, lifelong Nazarites. Let's continue. Are your pubes matted as well, fine sir, says Plato the philosopher. No, I'm something of a groomer, so no. But even before I used to groom myself, they were not matted, no. I love you, brother. Do you love Christ Messiah? Says, let us fill heaven. Do I love Christ Messiah? Oh, that's right, Jesus. Thanks a lot. I'm not addressing Jesus or Palestine this evening, so thanks a lot.
Tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow, right, if I go live tomorrow. God is an idea, says Clip Collector. Indeed, it's an idea. It's a name that we give something that's unnameable, unknowable, unthinkable, unfathomable, so we give it a name. That's why I say that I don't know God. All I know is divine revelation as it's revealed to me through creation. And that's exactly what I'm saying. It's an idea. An idea is a human notion. Okay. Are Jews allowed to have crazy-style gay sex? Truly Random Personage asks. So Jews who follow halacha cannot have anal sex, but all other forms are somewhat permissible, at least conceptually. I know that there are some who say, look, as far as the act is concerned, the only act that is against rabbinic law is gay sex between two men, with penetration of the anus all the way. However, there are other forms of sexual contact, as we know, and while it might not be allowed according to some rabbis, it could be that some, even Orthodox rabbis, will allow you, you'll have to check according with your rabbi, will allow you to, let's say, live with a guy, not go with that one specific act, but otherwise live a homosexual life. But I'm not a rabbi, I'm not a scholar, I'm not a halachic ruler. Most Orthodox rabbis rule out all forms of homosexuality, including women, even though that's not mentioned by name in the Bible. So, what do you mean by a crazy style? What crazy style are you talking about? Okay, let's continue. Carling says, you talk this shit in front of your kid, he will grow up to be a nice Jew. Well, what do you mean? I don't, unless it's something that personally applies to me and my sex life, my kids know this. They can come to me with any question, I will be as open as I can about it, and if it has to do with my sex life, that's where I draw the line. But they know that they can come to me with anything, because I believe that open communication about sex will save them from having to learn it elsewhere. Or, at the very least, if they are learning it elsewhere, they can come over here and say, hey, Pa, what's going on with this? Is this that? And what do you think of that? So being honest with your kids to the degree that you can will allow them not to grow up to be nice Jews, but hopefully growing up to be kind and honest people. That's sort of what I'm going for. Because the more that you shelter your kids, of course you should shelter them from certain things, but the more that you shelter them from things, the more that they will seek them in the outside world. So I'm of the opinion that the outside world is definitely a viable way of educating oneself, but that it should also come in tandem with the father. So I try to facilitate that to the best of my ability. Okay, let's continue. So why is it not allowed to cut your hair in any way or manipulate with tools? Harry asked, because the hair represents a certain divine revelation. That's why the hair of the Nazarite man or woman is called a crown of separation or crown of consecration. So you're not allowed to rip hairs out of the roots because that is, let's say, ripping out part of the divine revelation that is coming in through the Nazariteship. And so when you rip things out from the root intentionally, you are ripping out some facet of revelation, something along those lines, right? And so there is less influence, less divine influence. I mean, I'm sort of paraphrasing it. It's not precisely like that, but that's what it represents. The hair represents divine revelation. That's called crown. From the topmost of the head, from the topmost part of the body, from the crown of the head, all the way down as long as it can grow, top to bottom, right? So that's why it's not allowed. Okay, let's continue. Let us fill heaven says these Jews were the ones who killed Christ Messiah. Hell was built just for them. Well, we're talking about Jesus. Not in this live stream, not tonight. Every other live stream, pretty much I've spoken of Jesus. But after 30 minutes, I said, no, you'll have to forgive me. Okay, let's continue. Am Israel Chai says James Bond. Good to see you again, James. Where's my tea?
There it is.
What are you mentally ill also, says Tum Tum Tum. Interestingly, I was just reading Winnie the Pooh to my kid, to my other kid before bedtime. He said rum tum tum too. Am I mentally ill? I think we're all a little bit crazy. I know I am. So yes, I do have some kind of mental illness, undiagnosed, of course. But it's just right, right? It's just right. It's just on the threshold of being totally insane. Okay, let's continue. Continuing down in the chat. This type of Jewry is Satan. He is the Antichrist. Jesus warned us of those, says, let us fill heaven. Yeah, whatever you say. Tell us about the Talmud and killing baby. What? Saracen, you'll have to fill me in. I don't know what you're talking about. I've spoken of the Talmud many times. As far as killing babies, the only time where that is permissible is when eradicating the people of Amalek, but we do not know now who the people of Amalek actually are, so there is no genocide against Amalek happening now. When people call other nations or individuals Amalek, they do so of their own accord, and this is not corroborated by any kind of sage, prophet, rabbi, or I don't know what. Definitely not to such a degree that all of the people will come together and go against these people. So, yes. Again, you can look into my other live streams. The Talmud comes up almost every time, and I speak of it at length. Okay. What are Amalek? Amalek, wait, hang on a second. Amalek, Seili, are a people who attacked the children of Israel after they left Egypt before they arrived at Mount Sinai. They are a kind of nemesis and antithesis to Israel. And we are commanded to destroy them and eradicate them from under the heavens. Now, under the heavens represents a certain divine revelation, as opposed to above the heavens, not physically, like metaphorically, allegorically, above the heavens where the root means that there is no good and bad, there is no left and right, there is no Israel and Amalek, we are all one. At the root, Amalek and Israel are one. At this place of duality, Amalek and Israel are antithetical to each other, and Israel represent one thing, Amalek represent another, and the combat and the fighting and the strife between them appeared first in the desert, where the army with Joshua, they weakened the Amaleki army, but did not destroy them completely. Later, King Saul was commanded, the first king, commanded to go and eradicate Amalek. He did not do that either. He weakened them, but did not eradicate them. And the next time we really hear of them is during the Scroll of Esther, at the time of the Second Temple, with the Haman of Agag. Okay, let's continue. A super chat came in. I'm trying to understand the Jewish culture, says Coin the Group, and I see on social media a lot of videos where they outline that the female is the worker and brings the money in, and the male does not work. Is this true? No, it is not true. According to proper Torah, you're supposed to work for a living and study Torah alongside that. There are people who call themselves Charedi, some of the Charedim, plural, some of the Charedim indeed only learn while the woman goes out and earns a living. This, I believe, personally goes against Torah. There are many sages and rabbis who would say that that's 100% right. It is actually against the Torah to do such a thing. And it says in the Mishnah, in the oral traditions, that Torah that does not have toil and physical labor along with it, the end of that is that it is null and void and meaningless, and that it causes one to sin. Sofa betela vegoreret avon. That's what it says in Hebrew. So that's not Jewish culture at all. At all. It's the culture, unfortunately, of some people who seem to think it's okay to not work and to send the woman out to work. Now look, I am all for learning Torah. I make it a part of my life, and it's an amazing thing. It should be working and Torah, what's called Torah ve'avodah, work and Torah and toil. That's what it ought to be. I do agree that there ought to be 10, 100, 1,000 perhaps people or more, depending on the community. Is it a village? Is it a town? Is it a city? Is it a commune? People who receive a stipend from the community to not work and sit and learn Torah. The thing is that the Haredi people in the land of Israel get all kinds of benefits and tax breaks and I don't know what, and it's based on such crap. They pretend that learning Torah and not working is what they are supposed to be doing, when that is a demonstrable lie. That is a lie. Never, ever has that been the case with the Hebrew people. Only in the last, 100 years, I don't know when, very, very recent. And certainly, right, the state of Israel has only been around about 80 years. Ben-Gurion exempted certain ultra-Orthodox Haredi scholars from joining the army, exempted them from the draft. That was a few hundred, and it has now grown to many, many, many thousands. That is unacceptable. By the same token, they don't work, and they receive all kinds of benefit. Now look, many of them live in what would be considered poverty, but they choose this full well, and I don't agree with that. I think that it should be Torah and toil. That's what it should be. And that is the way of the Torah. That literally is the way of the Torah. Okay, let's continue. First of all, let's go. 396 votes off, almost 400. 29% like your snack salty. 28% like it healthy. 26% of you like it stolen. Right on. And 17% still. Not a lot of sweet-toothed individuals out there in the chat tonight, I gotta say. Okay. Hang on a sec. Let's continue. Do you push the Talmud? No, Israel did. I do not push the Talmud. What does it mean to push the Talmud? I have no idea what that means.
Go against it.
No, to push it is not to push it away. To push it means likely to force it on other people. They chose this. What a joke of an ideology, tie-dye dude. Hey, tie-dye dude. Wow, I haven't worn a tie-dye in a long time. I loved tie-dyes. They chose this. What a joke of an ideology. I'm not sure if you're talking about the Haredi people or other types of people who chose an ideology on what's going on in the chat, but yes. I feel bad for all the hate you receive. It's not your fault for what is happening. Our Light of Hope says, I don't feel bad. Hater's gonna hate. Spammer's gonna spam. Dumbass is gonna dumbass. That's just the way of the world. Make the world great again, says MYZX. Yes, I agree. Make the world great again. And we do that by being good people. By being a better person, you're making the world that much better. That much more to the side of good. Can someone become a Jew, or do they need to be born one? Teta says, or asks. No, there are conversions of different sorts. The proper conversion has always and ever been Orthodox rabbinic, but nowadays it takes so many years that that's not necessarily what I'm saying, that it must be that way. There are Karaite Jews, Orthodox Jews, conservative Jews, Reconstructionist Jews, Neo-Hasidic Jews, Reform Jews, Jews of all kinds, but initially you're supposed to be born into it, but you can convert to the faith if you wish. Okay, let's continue. How do you deal with the beard lice, says Synapse now. I've never had beard lice, thankfully. I've never had beard lice. I suppose I would deal with it the way I dealt with 2 times where I had head lice. You have little kids, you have lice. By using alcohol, medical alcohol. I put alcohol on my hair and on my scalp. It burns a bit sometimes and feels, tingly because it's alcohol. Then I put all of my hair up. And I put a plastic bag, and I tie it up, and it basically suffocates the lice. And I suppose if I had lice in my beard, I would do the same. I would soak my beard with medical alcohol and the face and the skin underneath, and I would put a bag here and tie it on, and I would leave, my nose exposed on for like 10, 20 minutes, and then take it off and rinse and shower and shampoo and whatnot. That's how I would get rid of the lice. So that's how I deal with it. If I had beard lice, that is how I would deal with it. Or there may be some sort of a concoction that I can that I would be able to buy or purchase. Because it's not great to put medical alcohol all over your skin. But occasionally I'll do it, if it's lice. Okay, let's continue. Hebrew Nazarite, my super chat, says Ratio. Oh, there was another super chat? I'm sorry. Hey, Ratio, good to see you. Yes, there was. I didn't see it come in. I'm sorry. Hang on a second. If exile continues, how is Israel not exiled? Israel is not exiled. If you look at the first temple when it was destroyed, we had 72 years in Babylon. Most of the people who came back from Babylon, no, strike that, reverse it. Most people did not return from Babylon. The people who returned to establish and build the second temple with Ezra, Nehemiah, and the other ones who returned from Babylon were the lesser part of the Jews, right, of the kingdom of Judah. So Israel is not exiled because we are back in our ancestral home. We are back here. Now, you could argue, no, it's not your real ancestral home. No, the real ancestral home is in Mesopotamia. It's not even close to here. I've heard the different ideas, researchers and historians and scholars who say that we don't precisely know where the borders of Israel are. All of the evidence points to the idea, the fact, that even if we don't know precisely the borders of Israel, or Greater Israel for that matter, there was something going down here for the past 2,000 years, and the second temple was indeed here. We have archaeological evidence of this. So, if you choose to take out all archaeological and all historical evidence, yes, maybe it was somewhere else. So, Israel is not exiled because we are back. That's kind of how you can tell. The thing is that about 50% of the world's Jews are in Israel, and the other 50%-ish are still in exile. There are those who say that they should remain in exile and that not everybody is supposed to make a comeback, just like in previous exiles, be it Edom, be it Babylon. Not everybody came back from exile, not with the first temple and not with the second temple. And then there are those who say, no, this is the land of the Hebrews and the Hebrews belong here. Let's continue. The votes, 464 votes. Healthy snacks, 29%. Salty snacks, 28%. Stolen snacks, 26%. And the best kind is sweet, say 17% of you. Really, I really was under the opinion and the impression that sweet and salty would be neck and neck, and not healthy and salty. You people are surprising me. That's good. Okay. Hey, Joe OG, tell the haters I don't have the time or the crayons to explain, LOL, except the Holy Spirit. No, I do have the time. When I'm here, I'll gladly engage with haters and with trolls and with spammers and with naysayers and with the insults and with the vitriol. Because you know what? If anything, it's just more engagement and I get to have fun with them. I get to troll the trollers and spam the spammers and, whatever. I don't spam, but you know what I mean. Okay. India stands with Palestine, with Israel, because I'm sorry, there was a free Palestine underneath, because they spit on them and they enjoy it. What? Bargain Ballistics. I love the name, by the way. They spit on them and they enjoy it. I don't know what you're talking about or who you're talking about. I know that some...
Canada.
What?
Iran on Canada, I think.
That has nothing to do with anything, man. It's not Iran or Canada. No, he did not. Definitely did not. Okay, let's continue. Okay, another super chat came in from Aiden. And he says, let's give that a like and a heart. What do you think of the Gentile Noahide movement? Do you see it as good? Always interesting to see different Jews' perspective. So the Noahide movement and the Noahide laws, the 7 Noahide laws, it's a dispute. What do I think? I think it has some merit, but I'm not an absolutist, and I don't think that all nations should go in the ways of the children of Noah. I think that Israel has its task to fulfill. Other nations have their own task to fulfill, their own mission to accomplish, their job to carry out. If it should happen that they accept the Noahide laws, all right, that's cool. It's a system. It's a way of, right? One of them is to set up courts of justice. You know what I'm saying? So that can include already a lot within it. The thing is that I don't think that everybody is meant to go with the Noahide laws, and to wit, it has not been accepted as an absolute by all of the religious folks, Jews or Gentiles. So, yeah. I'm thinking that if it was an absolute thing, or if it should come to pass that all the nations should turn into Noahides, that might be a good thing, because then there would be a unifying system. But as long as it's not unified, people will do what they will, and that's what I want there to be done, that people will act however they want to act. We have our ways, they have their ways, and that's the way that it's always been. Hey, First Just, hello to you. Sammy says, "Oh, good people, come to Islam, the only monotheistic religion where we worship the one and only true God, the God of Adam, Noah, Abraham, Jesus." Really? Interesting. I don't think that's the case, but okay. Drink Me says, "What do you think of the Havra'ah Agreement of 1933 and the Balfour Declaration of 1917? So let's go chronologically. Balfour Declaration of 1917 saw it in a good light. They were favorable to the Jews going back to their homeland. Part of it was a religious substructure. The religious underpinnings of the Balfour Declaration was when the Jews return to Judea, when the Israelites return to Israel, they will be building the third temple, and prophecy will be fulfilled, and the Messiah, Christian, Jew, whatever, will arrive, and it will usher in a new age. That was the religious substructure and underpinning, if you will, of the Balfour Declaration. So what do I think of it? I think it was a good thing. I think that it was a proper thing. I think it legitimized what later happened in the UN, which is understanding that the Jews need a home. This was their ancestral home. The Jews should therefore have a place there. A partition plan was offered. The Jews accepted it. As for the Havra'ah Agreement of 1933, so Zionist organizations were in touch with the Nazi Party, wanting to take people out of Germany, Jews, right, out of Germany, and bring them to Palestine, the British Mandate of Palestine. And so what do I think of it? I think that in 1933, when the Nazi regime seized power, that the Havra'ah Agreement was a good thing. It wasn't yet so anti-Jew in its, at least de facto, right? Ideologically it may have been, but those first laws, right, and the Star of David, right, and all of that, that was later, and certainly only with World War II, right, and the final solution and all that happened later on. In 1933, Hitler and the Nazi Party took power, and there was an organization, several organizations that were in touch with them. Zionist organizations were in touch with the Nazis and collaborating with them in order to bring Jews from Germany to Palestine, to the British Mandate of Palestine. And the thing is that they were collaborating because the Nazis didn't want Jews in Germany, and Havra'ah agreement said the Jews belong in Judea. Let's bring them on, right? Both of the organizations' interests aligned. The Zionist organizations and the Nazi organizations had an alignment of interests in that particular moment, in that particular time. So what do I think of it? I think it was a good thing because, at least for a time, there was a chance for German Jews to escape what would later, we know retroactively, what would later become the Nazi war machine and the extermination of the Jews in Germany. So I think it was a good thing in both cases. Okay, let's continue. But your Messiah is the Islamic Mahdi aka Antichrist. Okay, so you're talking to someone else there. All right. Let's see. Why do so many Jews have crazy hair, asks Preston. I don't know. I didn't know that many Jews have crazy hair. People, has this been your experience? Do Jews have crazy hair? I don't know. Do they? So it's been almost an hour. A quick aside to say thank you to you good people out there. Through the pixels, through the zeros and ones of the digital age, I reach out to you and I say thank you. I deeply appreciate it. Your time, your kind and gentle attention, your encouragement, your insults, your vitriol, your hugs and your kisses, your likes, your subs, your views, everything. I deeply appreciate it. I don't take it for granted that I press go live and there's a chat here, there's an engagement here, there's a conversation and a dialogue ongoing here. You teach me, you educate me, you nourish me, you strengthen me intellectually, and I deeply appreciate it, and I thank you. Another super chat came in. Let's see. Why do Jews hate and deny Jesus so much, asks Plug Smoke. Well, I, for one, do not hate or deny Jesus. I simply deny that he is Son of God. He could have been a potential Messiah, sage, but I said I will not be talking about Jesus, unfortunately for you, but because it is a super chat. Jews hate Jesus because of Christianity, not because of Jesus. That's the bottom line. Jews hate it because of what came from Jesus, not Jesus himself. More often than not, they don't even know the New Testament, and nor do they know, to the degree that one can know, the character of Jesus as it is portrayed in the Gospel. If anything, they do know what's written in the Babylonian Talmud, which I do not follow, in the sense of that I believe it to be true. It's the opinion of one sage, let's say, on what happened to Jesus. Okay, 572 votes. 28% healthy, 28% salty, 27% stolen, and still holding at 17% is the sweet tooth snacks are the best. Okay, let's continue. Jewish people like money, says Michael Connor. Jewish people like money. Where do you people get this stuff from? Look, we need money, at least at this point in time, for survival, for food. You know, it takes money to make money, that whole thing. The thing is, they say that lack of money is the root of all evil. So, if you're thinking of it like that, yes, obviously, we want to make enough money to survive. We want to make enough money to have a fitting and proper place for ourselves, right? And for our children. And this is true to many, many civilizations. We can't always buy and sell. We can't always barter. Money and currency is the way that it goes down right now. As for Jewish people like money, who does not like money? Tell me. Really? Are you in Nazareth, says CX. No, I'm in Jerusalem. A Nazarite is a man or a woman who took a Nazarite vow. A Nazarene is a person from Nazareth. All right, let's continue. Hi, says Ki. Will you revert to Islam as the Quran is the last holy book after the book of Psalms? The Torah and the Bible and Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the seal of all prophets. No, I will go and check out Islam, the Hadith, the Quran, and Muhammad when there is peace. Until then, unfortunately, I cannot do it because my mind has been shaped by war, terrorism, bloodshed, and very, very much of a shit situation that goes on here all the time in the Middle East. We are in a time of consistent war, emergency, and strife and struggle with our enemies, with those who want to annihilate us and wipe us off the face of the map. So I can't actually approach Islam objectively, or as objective as one would like, because it is highly subjective right now. And once we know justice, and once we know peace, and once we are able to get over the horrible, horrible conflicts that are going on here now, then I will gladly read the Quran, I will gladly read the Hadith, I will gladly take possibly the teachings of Muhammad as not faith, but wisdom. Until then, I'm steering clear of the Quran, steering clear of Islam at large. It's not to say that it's a bad thing, but I can't do it because my conscience, let's say, won't allow me to do it because it is not clear enough. Because I know that when I read certain things in the Quran, when I read certain things in the Hadith, I'll be thinking, about war, bloodshed, and terrorism. So I must wait until that is resolved. Okay, let's continue. How bad are you getting bombed, though, the one says? Israel is getting hit, not as much as Iran, for sure, but Israel is getting hit indeed. Let's continue. What music mean when Jew pray, says First Just. I don't know what that means. What music mean when Jew pray? What does music mean? I'm not sure. Could you clarify the question? I really don't know what you mean. Music and prayer go hand in hand. Music, prayer and song go hand in hand. So I'm not sure what you mean. Even in the times of the temple, right, where the Levitical choir would be singing the Psalms. What we talking about? We're talking about faith, spirituality, religion, self-development, and anything of the sort that you bring up in the chat. Tonight, everything but Jesus and Palestine. Other times, I've spoken about these things at length. Tonight, after 30 minutes, I decided no. I've been speaking for just over an hour. It's going pretty well. The second half with no Jesus or Palestine has been pretty good. Okay, let's continue. Spelch says, I just had my first encounter with Hasidic Jews. They helped me out so much. They are generous. I was in need and they helped me. Is it a Jewish thing to be so helpful? What do you think about the Hasidic? So it's a human thing to be helpful. Jews we have a commandment, we have our commandments to love our neighbor and to treat others as we would want to be treated. The golden rule, as it's known, right? Love your neighbor, love your God. So that's part of the Torah. As for Hasidics, well, it depends on the Hasidic sect. I'm a fan of Chabad, and I'm a fan of Breslev, and I'm a fan of different Hasidic courts. But there are also Hasidic courts that are anti-Israel and that are siding with our enemies who want to wipe us off the face of the earth. So that's where I draw the line. I'm not a fan of them. As for Hasidic practices, I definitely am in favor of Hasidic practices. I myself am not a Hasid, but there are certain Hasidic practices that I still do follow to this day. Okay, let's continue. Non-stop terrorism, says Khalila. Yes, indeed, it has been non-stop terrorism all across the board, and that sucks. It really, really sucks, and I hope and I pray that war, bloodshed, and terrorism will be taken away. Don't you think most religions are sexist, says Sakina. I don't know most religions, so I can't say if most religions are sexist or not. I know that there is a facet that could be considered through our modern day lens as sexist, as misogynist, as misandrist, anti-human, bigoted, racist. Yes. The thing is that I don't see it through that lens, and I understand that it could be viewed as such. I choose to focus more on the good. I choose to focus more on the light. I choose to focus more on the gracious and benevolent side of the Torah, of the Bible, but I am well aware of the negative and the malevolent and the dark that is in the Bible as well. MUR says, can you talk about the nun in the mem? Well, the different Hebrew letters are comprised of other Hebrew letters. So the resh is not, but I digress, and the yud is not either. What do you mean to talk about the nun in the mem? Can you be more specific? Are you talking about literally the way that the letter is written? Are you talking about Kabbalistically, right, where nun is associated with a certain sphira and mem is associated with a certain divine revelation? Okay, let's continue. Love your neighbor, says Mike. Yes, indeed, love your neighbor. Now, many people could say, what do you mean, love your neighbor? Aren't you bombing the shit out of your neighbors on a regular basis? To which I go, yes, but we are doing that as a defensive measure, not because we want to genocide those around us, but because those around us have sworn to wipe us off the face of the earth and have actually taken steps repeatedly, consistently, ever since the beginning of the 20th century. Forget about 1948 and the establishment of the State of Israel. It goes way, way, way before that. Way beyond that, way before that. Bro, take a bath, says Bacon Activity. I do take baths. In fact, my God, I miss having a bath. I'm living in an apartment that only has a shower. And I enjoy a shower, but I'm a bath man. I've always been a bath man. I take my bath seriously. I dim the lights. I light incense. I light candles. I put music. I use a bath bomb, essential oils, the whole thing. I love it. I love it. I love taking a good bath, soaking in hot water for like 30 minutes, decompressing, unwinding, relaxing, breathing in the steam of the lavender or the eucalyptus or the peppermint that I put in the water. It's such a mechaya, it's such an amazing and enlivening experience, whereas a shower is utilitarian. Yeah, it'll get you clean, it'll get you, washed, but it doesn't give you what a bath gives you. So, bro, take a bath. I wish, Bacon Activity, I wish. Are you going to pay for the renovations up there? Are you going to pay for the renovation of the shower, turning it into a nice big bath, put a couple of jets there for the jacuzzi action? Are you going to pay for it, Bacon? If you are, get in touch with me. I might just accept your generous offer. Okay. Defense my ass, your government has committed genocide, Camo says. Bullshit. If it was genocide, the war would be over in a couple of days. Furthermore, to genocide, there needs to be intent, which Israel does not have, and there needs to be results, which Israel has not provided, right? Okay, and let's continue, because I said no Jesus or Palestine. Can we not ask him about baths again, said Sid Hollow. Many people do this. I really could not give any less of a crap if they think, wait, your time is up. Because dude, you can't pretend that your time is not up. Wait, how much time do you have? How much time do you have? Answer me. Answer me. Am I wrong? So what if I'm live? You'll wait. You'll wait a few seconds. Go on. How much time do you have? You have 10 minutes? Take 10 minutes. I don't believe it? Take it. I'm feeling generous this evening. Take 10 more minutes. Do you wash your crown, says Robert. Yes, I do. Why the Baal Shem Tov, says Shai Milman. Hi, nice to see you again. Why the Baal Shem Tov called Baal is bad? Baal means master. That's all that means. Baal Shem Tov means master of a good name, because the Baal Shem Tov at the time was known for his ability to give good advice and to give different, let's say, shamanic remedies to people and cure them, and so that's why he was called master of a good name. Incidentally, in the book of, what is it? Which one is it? Is it Amos? I don't recall which book of the 12 minor prophets is said that on that day you will not call me Baali, my master, you will call me Ishi, my man. Where is it from? Lo tikrini Baali ki im Ishi. Now I need to figure that out. Hang on a second, a quick search. Lo Baali ki im Ishi. Hosea in Hosea. Not Yoshia, Hosea. Okay, cool. As for defense my ass, I'm sorry, I said I won't talk about it. Another super chat came in from Our Light. I have a question about prayer. Is the prayers from followers of Judaism and Islamic the only ones worthy to God? I heard it from a respected rabbi. I don't know anything about Islam, so I can't speak of Islam. As for Judaism, no. If you speak from the heart and you speak honestly, then that prayer is welcomed. If you speak just for the sense of, if you speak and you pray, but you don't mean it, that's something else. That is not as worthy. Okay? Because it's something that you need to mean. It's something that there should be intent behind it. Intent is very, 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 they say prayer without intent is like a body without a soul. Meaning that it's lifeless. There's not really that life force within it. Prayer is supposed to enact change. It is not Adonai, it is not the Most High God that needs our prayers. It is us who are changed when we speak things into being. And in order to speak things into being and have them manifest and actually create positive change in the world, there needs to be intent behind it. There needs to be a meaning behind it. There needs to be a life force, right? That it is imbued with. And so, is it worthy to God? I don't know what is worthy to God and not is. I don't know what is and isn't worthy to God. I am not God. I don't know God. I do know that if a prayer is a prayer, it needs to be proper. It needs to be from the heart and not from the head, although from the head cerebral prayers work too. There needs to be intent. There needs to be meaning. There needs to be a life force that you imbue, right? That enters the words, whether you write them down if you're a mute, or whether you speak them out if you can speak. A respected rabbi, who, I wonder, would say such a thing that only those prayers, God did not create Islam, God did not create Judaism. These are religions, right? By people, for people. Divinely influenced, perhaps, right? But initially, God created mankind, nature, the divine revelation in Eden. I go back to Eden. That is the source. That is the root. That is the origin. That is the way. Now, we were kicked out of Eden. But we are meant to introduce more and more Edenic elements into our lives as time goes by, and eventually go back to Eden as a unified human race, partake of the fruit of the tree of life, go on to phase 2, and so on and so forth. So to say that human beings who speak from the heart, and that is not worthy? No, I call bullshit on that. Sorry. You could say, no, there is a hierarchy of prayer, but I say that if there is positive intent and honesty and humility, the prayer is worthy. That's what I say. I'm no rabbi, I'm not a scholar, I'm not a learned man or an educated man. I'm just a simple dumbass in the Middle East with a phone. And yet I tell you, more than likely, and I don't know God, I know humans. Humans, when they speak humbly, when they speak from the heart, when they speak with honesty and positivity, with good intentions, the prayer is then worthy. Generally speaking. I don't speak in absolutes, but that generally what constitutes a good prayer. 662 votes. Salty snacks at 28, healthy snacks at 28, stolen at 27, and sweet going up 1% to 18. You people, I really am surprised that not more people are a sweet tooth. Incidentally, I like my snacks more salty. Tel Aviv burning in hell, says Jay Smith. Really? I don't know of such news, and I am, in touch with people from Tel Aviv. There are missiles that occasionally do get by the interceptors, the Iron Dome, the Sling of David, Patriot missiles if we're firing them, and so on. The defense is not 100%, but definitely Tel Aviv is not burning in hell. And if you think that, by all means, continue to think it. It's all good. People believe this crap, says Lit Bro. I'm not asking for people to believe anything. You don't have to believe anything. You don't have to follow anything. You don't have to think that what I'm saying is good, bad, in the middle, whatever. We are here having a conversation. I am not here speaking of having you believe something. We're just talking. That's all that this is. It's just an open dialogue. Why is it that people think that I am here to shove things down people's throats when I'm merely speaking my mind and shaping my opinion with the back and forth? People are revealing their own insecurities. People are revealing their own inner workings when they speak such things with absolutely nothing to go on. Okay, let's continue. I am signing out. Can't listen to this hypocrite, says Gemmed Color. Liar, and he thinks he is the chosen person. Really? When did I say I'm a chosen person? I call bullshit on that too. I actually don't go with this chosen people stuff. I think that it can lead you down a path of arrogance, vanity, pride, and it can cause you to fall. I say that Jews were selected for a certain task. Other nations were selected for a different task. Different tasks, plural. As for being a hypocrite, do tell. Where am I a hypocrite? All I've spoken are facts. And if it's not facts, challenge me. Fact check me. I'm up for it. Okay, let's continue. You know the song 88 Luftballons? Yes, I do, sure. I mean, what is it, late 90s, early 2000s? Yeah, I do know the song. It was a major hit at the time. A real major hit at the time. Okay, let's continue. Would you agree that none of the prophets had a religion, says Balin? Well, Balin is one of the dwarves, right, from Lord of the Rings. None of the prophets had a religion? I disagree. A religion, right, means a path, right? A religion means a way. A religion means a, let's say, discipline that you go with. So, no, the prophets did have a religion. Was it an organized religion like it is now as we know it? No. Was it a path laid out by the Torah? Yes, because they did not have the Bible. They had the Torah. We have the Torah. So that is what I'm saying. To the degree that Torah is part of religion, they had that part of religion. Did they call it religion? No. They called it the Hebrew way, right? That's pretty much, they called it Torah and commandments. They called it the covenant. That's what it is. It's also why I'm not a fan. I don't call myself religious for those reasons either, right? I call myself a Hebrew man trying to go down the Hebrew path, to stick to the Torah, to stick to the commandments, to carry out the covenants that I've taken on. That's what it is. All right, let's continue going down in the chat. Are you Israelian, says Idea Brain. Yes, I am. In Israel. Let's continue. Wait, I'm sorry? Wait a second. Oh, the chat is stuck. Uh-oh. What am I supposed to do now? The chat is stuck. I don't know what to do. Hang on a second. It's stuck at 9. It's 4 minutes. I haven't seen the chats for the last 4 minutes, apparently. I'm going to try and reload the page, so I'm going to probably miss everything unless I look at my phone. You know what? I'll look at my phone. This guy is a liar, says Bargain. He said fact check. He asked a question. I'm asking a question. He's sitting on stolen land that was stolen in our lifetime. How can you justify that? I've justified it. You weren't here, but I definitely did justify it. And I do say that if you can prove to me that it is stolen, I will acquiesce. I will also say that what I consider to be problematic, hang on, I got to skip this. What I consider to be problematic is some fringe settlements that are probably indeed stolen. That I'm willing to talk about. But to simply say that Jews stole the land is ignorant and also historically and factually incorrect. And I already mentioned why. You can look back at any other live stream when this comes up. I'm not going to repeat myself. Okay. Key says, check this out. Generally, Jewish communities experienced a period of relative peace, security, and improved rights under the rule of the second Rashidun Caliph, Umar ibn al-Khattab. Yes, there were times in the Caliphate where the Jews, even though that they were dhimmis and they had to pay a jizya, a skull tax, there was indeed relative peace and security and improved rights. I agree. There were times when under Muslim rule they had a very good life, relatively speaking, definitely relative to other places. The thing is that the Caliphate did not last. And nowadays, if you look at the Muslim and Arab countries, the Jews are almost non-existent because they were forced out, or they were ethnically cleansed, or they were about to be ethnically cleansed, literally pogromed until they were eradicated. And that didn't happen. They were basically tossed out. They were basically fought. I mean, whether you look at Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, Egypt, Libya. So, Libya? Yes, I think Libya as well. But there was indeed a time, many times even, when it was the Muslims who sustained the Jewish way of life. I don't negate that, and I don't say that it was always Islam against the Jews, or Arabs for that matter against the Jews. The Arabs had the most unbelievable wars of conquest from Arabia, right, from that peninsula, let's say, and they conquered a ton. And so much territory and so many people were under their thumb, whatever empire or caliphate was around at the time. And for a lot of that time, or at least partially, the Jews were sitting pretty good. They really were. The thing is that does not exist nowadays. There is no caliphate. So, yes, it's true. There was indeed a time. Okay, who will win this war, Musulmans or Jews? Asks Vlax Alex. I'm of the opinion that we both shall win. That's what I would love. You know how you win? You make peace. That would be the greatest victory. Peace can come through love and understanding and justice, or it can come through conquering, bloodshed, and conflict. And I would love it if this war could be won in ways of peace and love. That's what I would want, right? And honor. Unfortunately, it's not looking that would be the case. But who will win this war? Ideally, both of us. We will win by making peace. That is how. Let's continue. I like this guy. Peace overall, says Brett. Yeah, we need peace. We need it like oxygen. We just don't know it. It's just so awful that we don't have peace here. Bathers. Sorry, another super chat came in, or was it the same one? No, okay. Vlas says, Jews have chosen Satan as their ruler. Jews is worshipping Satan, not God. Give me proof. Where is the proof? You don't know what you're talking about. Are there Jews who are satanic? Sure. Jews chose Satan? I call bullshit. We follow the one Hebrew God. We follow the Torah. We follow the commandments. We follow the covenants that we stick to. And Satan is an adversary. Satan is a servant of the Most High God. Satan is doing a very, very good job. We do not worship Satan, and we do not choose Satan as our ruler. So if you're going to say something so bombastic, by all means, prove it. Prove it. Tell me how. Okay, let's continue. It's amazing what people it's amazing what people spew without actually knowing about at all. When I speak, if I'm ignorant, I say I'm ignorant. If it's something I heard, I say that's hearsay, I don't know. If it's something that I read, I say, I read it, I don't know for a fact. It's like people simply think they can say whatever they want, and they can, but that doesn't make it truth. Nor is what I'm saying truth. I hold no great wisdom. I hold no grand truth. I hold no absolute understanding of this or that. I'm just a simple dumbass in the Middle East. That's all I am. It's all I ever will be. However, in my 40-odd years of life, most of it in Israel, I've seen a thing or two. I've served in the army. I've been a civilian. I've went through more than a couple of wars in my life. So I've seen a thing or two. I've gained a little bit of wisdom. A little bit. And I know enough, not that I'm wise, not in the least, I know enough not to simply spew something just for the sake of spewing it. These people who say Jews have chosen Satan as their ruler, fair enough. Show me how. Give me actual evidence that Jews chose Satan as their ruler. I don't see it. These people speak a lot and they don't back it up with anything other than, that's it, that's all I know. Praying for you, says JP. Good to see you again, man. Praying for you and your family and all of Israel. The Lord bless thee and keep thee. The Lord make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. The Lord lift his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. The priestly blessing to all of you good people out there. To all of you good people out there. You know, it says in the book of Yoel, I mention this every time, that God will pour his spirit upon all flesh. It doesn't say Zionists. It doesn't say Jews. It doesn't say Israelis. It says all flesh. All of creation, all of the living things will be elevated. All of the living things will know in a deep, intimate union the divine revelation. And I pray, I truly do pray that that time will come by our own merit, through our own doing, that God will pour his spirit upon all flesh, and we will all have been, right, we will all be imbued with that spirit of God. God willing. May it be so. Okay, let's continue. Defend Bris, says Jeremiah. I don't need to defend it. It's an Abrahamic covenant going back thousands of years. Now, some people say that it's a barbaric, archaic mutilation of poor, defenseless 8-year-old babies. 8-day-old, I said 8-year-old, 8-day-old male babies, to which I say, okay, cool. That's it. You're right. That's a hill I will die on. So I don't defend anything. I'm not an apologist. I'm not a defender. I'm not a debater. Brit means covenant. What you're asking me is defend the covenant. I don't have to defend the covenant. I don't have to defend the covenant of circumcision. I don't have to defend the covenant of marriage. I don't have to defend the covenant of Shabbat. I don't need to defend the covenant of tefillin. I don't need to defend the covenant of the Nazarite ship. I don't need to defend any covenant. If you're not a Hebrew man, or, if you're not a Hebrew man, it's not your covenant. That's it. Now, some people are saying, no, it's our responsibility as humanistic individuals to go against this barbaric, archaic, mutilating, process and practice, to which I go, okay, fair enough. I know that there are countries where they are doing everything in their power to ban the male circumcision, where it's still there, obviously the female one as well. Don't get me started on that. But, to which I say, okay, if you have a country, a nation, and you want to ban circumcision, by all means do it. That's your prerogative. Don't listen to the Jews, don't listen to the Muslims. It's your country, it's your nation, do whatever you want. If you have the majority on your side, that might become the law. And if you pass it, and the bill that you pass will become a law. Or if it's a monarchy, the king will decide, and that will become the law. I'm not telling other nations how to behave. I'm not telling other certainly not when it has nothing to do with me. Okay. Oh, another one came in? Oh, no. I'm sorry. It's still JP. JP, it's good to see you again here, man. Let's continue. What do you think about Rabbi Abraham Finkelstein, says Mark my words. I don't know Rabbi Abraham Finkelstein, so I don't know what to think of him. Do you have anything? Give me a resource. Ricky Ham says, how can anyone dislike this guy? Many people dislike me. I'm fine with that. By all means, dislike me and laugh at me. It's all good. This is partly why I'm here. If I didn't want to be disliked, if I was afraid of, they don't like me, I wouldn't be doing this. I'm well aware of the fact that people don't like me. That's really, really good. There should be contention. There should be a difference of opinion. All I'm saying is there are chasms we can gap. There are bridges we can build. There are ways in which we can find common ground and then build from there. So people may dislike me, people may want me to die, people may smell me in Belgium. So, okay, cool. This is the internet. It is the interwebs. This is the nature of it. And all of these people on the other side of this screen, and all the keyboard warriors, and all the ones who are giving, encouragement and who are actually engaging in discourse, I love it. I love whatever comes my way, and I appreciate whatever comes my way. Definitely I do. Okay, let's continue. I find it quite enjoyable, says Aronius. erroneous. Yes, I enjoy it too. It's so much fun to press go live, whether it be, in the morning, afternoon, or night, whenever it is, and have a discussion going on here. And again, even all the haters and the trolls and the spammers, bring it on, bring it on. It's all good. It's all good. It's still engagement, and I love it. I like your energy, dude, says Brett. Thanks. I like that too. Ollie says he talks about human meat in burgers. Well, human meat is against the Torah, but I could speak about human meat in burgers if you wish. Our Light says, I don't dislike you. I actually want to contact you and learn from you. I'm not a teacher. Get a proper master. I'm not it. I need a lot of spiritual counseling. I'm not a counselor either. I don't, it's not me. I'll gladly speak with you, but I'm not teaching you or counseling you or anything of the sort. I'm not that guy. I'm not a rabbi. I'm not a scholar. I'm not a teacher. I'm not an educated or learned man. I'm just a simple dumbass. Okay, let's continue. Hi, says John Brosman. Hello, John. Hello. If you do want to contact me, Hebrew Nazarite in the DMs across the board. I'm on TikTok, I'm on X, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm here. So hit me up if you want, and we'll have a one-on-one. What do you do for a living, says Adam Kondrak. I am a writer. That's what I do for a living. I am a screenwriter by trade. I'm not doing that day to day. I'm a copywriter, content writer, blogger, and creator. That is what I do for a living. Do you struggle with addiction, says Balin? You know what? I do, to some degree. It's never been diagnosed as such. I'm in therapy. I went back to therapy just over 3 months ago. So, do I struggle with addiction? I mean, I'm going to say no, but there are habits that I am looking to disengage from, let's put it that way. So in that sense, it is a struggle. Interestingly enough, I had a session, when was it? It's 9. I had a session about 9 hours ago that shook me up a little bit. Therapy has always been a trip. So I went to therapy 13 years ago. I was there for 3 years. And then I recently came back a few months ago to therapy with a different therapist. I'm doing it digitally now with a different sort of therapeutic modality, a lot more somatic, a lot more in the body, grounding work, mindfulness, and all that. And I'm seeing results, and it's awesome, and it's wonderful. My therapist is a subscriber. Hey, Tina, if you're watching this, you're awesome. So do I struggle with addiction? I'll have to say yes. It's not the classic addiction, but in some ways it does fit the pattern. So yes, I will say yes, but no, but yes. But the thing is, I'm not doing any 12-step stuff, and I don't consider myself an addict. I don't treat myself as such. Nor have I been diagnosed by my therapist, the one 13 years ago, or now, as an addict. So I'm inclined to say that I struggle with behavior, I struggle with habits, let's say, but not with addiction. I don't know if there's even a difference. Maybe, maybe not. Okay, let's continue. Litten Up says, you will consume the bugs, you will own nothing and be happy. I don't know what that means. But no, I don't consume bugs. I'm a vegan, so I consume what comes from the earth. Our Light says, do you think a rabbi can help a Christian that loves Christ with all his heart if he is lost? I feel sometimes being a religious man can offer challenges. Definitely being religious can offer many challenges, whether it's religious guilt or trauma, or whether it's proper religious struggles that are from a good side, right? Not from a bad side, not from a self-flagellating, let's say, side, not cracking the whip, but simply being in awe of the Creator and wanting to embody that image of God in which we are created, and the ideal keeps on moving away. The more we come to it, the more it moves away. And so there's a kind of paradox here where we are seeking perfection and to be perfect right, but we will never be perfect, ever. Seeking it is the perfection in and of itself. The journey is the actual thing. So I will say this. You don't necessarily have to talk to an Orthodox rabbi. You can speak to a Messianic rabbi if you are a follower of Jesus. And you want to speak to a Jew who is also a follower of Jesus. Now, some people say that does not exist, and people who follow Jesus are not Jews. I disagree. You don't have to think Jesus is God. You can think that he was the Messiah. That's a different thing altogether. There's being a king and there's being God. Two very different things. One is a creation, one is the creator. So I would say if you're a Christian, a follower of Jesus, seek out a messianic rabbi. Or if you don't want a messianic rabbi, seek out an Orthodox rabbi, or a conservative rabbi, or a reform rabbi. There are many people. Okay, let us continue. Who is Azazel to you, says Mark my words? Well, Azazel is one of the demonic entities. And so who is he to me? I don't know him personally. I know that he is said to be, so like two things. First of all, it's not a who, it's a where. Azazel is a location. On the Holiday of Atonement, 2 goats would be offered, one to Adonai at the temple, one to Azazel in the desert. And so Azazel represents the dark side of the force. Azazel represents the other side, the impure side. Azazel represents the left hand, right? The side of impurity, the side of uncleanliness. There's that phrase, to give the devil his due. That's what Azazel is. It's a location, a geographical location, let's say, that is the desert, where the goat would be sent off, carrying all of the sins of the children of Israel on its back, and it would be killed in the desert, not with a knife, but by being tossed or pushed over a cliff. That's what they say in the Mishnah. But basically, you set it free in the desert, and it dies in the desert. So, who is Azazel? It's associated with a demonic element, a demonic entity, but it's not a who, it's more of a what. But it's kind of both. Okay. Let us continue. Wayne says, there is no empirical evidence of a soul or spirit. I agree, there is none. I don't need empirical evidence. There are certain things where I simply experience them, and because I'm not an apologist, and because I don't want to prove my point and have anyone believe me, I'm just doing my thing. If I had to prove the existence of a soul or a spirit, I would have a tough time to do it. But since I don't need to do that, and I have nothing to prove to anyone, I'm not trying to convince anyone that a soul is real. I'm not trying to convince anyone or sway their opinion or shape their mind or change their views. Not in the least. So that's why I'm cool with that. The scapegoat, exactly. Exactly, Marcus, the scapegoat. That's where that comes from. All right. Ronald says, what are the differences between the Talmud and the Torah? So the Torah is both. The Torah is a written Torah, known as the 5 books of Moses. It's actually one scroll, 5 different Chumashim, right? 5 different books in one scroll. The Talmud is the oral traditions that are the commentary on the Mishnah. You know what, man? The time passed a long, long, long time ago. You know this. You know this. Surely you know this. And if you want, we can later look at the live stream and see just how much time passed. Am I wrong? Wait, let's do it in the Big Lebowski. Be I wrong? Am I wrong? Uriah, my dear. Good night. Good night, my dear. Okay. So the Talmud is the oral traditions, the commentary on the oral traditions, which was never meant to be written down. It was only written down, it wasn't meant to remain oral. It was written down lest it be forgotten. So the Talmud is from the 3rd century of the Common Era. That's when it was sealed. And it has in it opinions, and it has in it folklore and legend and myth, and all kinds of debates and conversations, people quoting other people from the Mishnah, people bringing all kinds of evidence, people anchoring their opinions in all kinds of texts. And from the Mishnah and from the Talmud, this is where halacha, rabbinic law, is derived. But it was never meant to be written down. The fact that it was written down was not a good thing. It was the lesser of 2 evils, right? You either have it forgotten altogether, or you write it down. Neither one of those options is good. They chose the lesser of 2 evils. That's what I have to say. That is the Talmud. Karaite Jews, for instance, follow the 5 books of Moses, but not the Talmud or the Mishnah. All right, let's continue. Learn to surf, says Mark. Ah, interesting. I never considered learning how to surf. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. Do you pray Birkat HaMinim? What does it mean? Aro Minute asks. So Birkat HaMinim, there is the main prayer known as Amidah, the silent prayer of 18 blessings. Later on, during the time of the Second Temple, if I'm not mistaken, it was during the time of the Second Temple, they added a 19th blessing called Birkat Haminim. So it's called Shmoneh Esrei, which is 18 in Hebrew, but actually since then, it's 19 different blessings. This is recited as an individual prayer, a silent prayer, in the Siddur, in the book of prayers, right? In the Orthodox book of prayers. Other conservative reform and others have their own adaptation of the Amidah. And you stand, if you can stand, you speak silently, and it's a silent prayer, and later the one who leads the prayer, right, the one who leads the congregation repeats it a little bit differently, but I digress. At the time, I did say Birkat Haminim. Birkat Haminim is basically saying that those who turn away from Judaism and who tattletale on other Jews to the powers that are here, the foreign powers that are in Israel. For instance, during the time of Antiochus Epiphanes IV, before the miracle of Hanukkah took place, there were Jews who were Hellenized. There were Jews who said, you know what, cool, the Greeks are here, let's be Greeks. And it was those people, among others, that the Hashmonai dynasty, the Maccabees, right, were against. And so that prayer basically says, right, may they have no hope, and wickedness should be taken away, right? And that righteousness should rule. That's basically what it is. So I did say it at the time. Many people think that this is something against all the nations. Uh-oh, Mr. Baby is awake because the guy went to bed. I hope he falls back to sleep. If he doesn't, I'll make him a bottle. No. Does he need a bottle? He might need a bottle soon. I hope he falls back to sleep. Anyway, I'll speak a little quieter. Birkat Haminim was twisted and perverted to mean that... wait, you know what? Hang on a second. Okay. Yes. So it was at the time of Rabban Gamliel. Yes. So basically, many people say that it's against all the nations, but this is not actually true. Of course, you could see it that way. But it's against wickedness. It's not against other nations. It's against wickedness at large. That's what it is. Okay. Blocked me, says Bargain Ballistics. Who blocked you? I don't block anyone. I don't ban anyone. I don't put anyone in a timeout. There are no mods in this chat because I wanted to remain open. Mr. Baby, are you awake? Yeesh. I've got the baby monitor. Yep. He's standing up. I think I'll have to say goodbye. I might have to say goodbye. I mean, I've been on for over an hour and 40 minutes. Incidentally, let's go and see the best kind of snack. The poll is at 884 votes. Healthy is now in first place, then salty with 28%, stolen 26%, and sweet at 18%. JP asks, can you tell me the difference between the Hebrew word vow, like Hannah made, and the Hebrew word oath? Is there a specific difference between them? Yes. A vow is called a neder, N-E-D-E-R, and it comes from a certain divine revelation. And an oath is called shavu'ah, right? And that's a different divine revelation. Neder has to do with something you take on. An oath has to do with false or truth. In other words, when you would go to the Hebrew court, you would swear. And that an oath means to swear an oath. You don't swear a vow, you swear an oath. Okay? A vow is when you take something onto yourself or abstain from something. That is a vow. An oath is this true or is this false? It's like more of a dichotomy with an oath. A vow is a lot more open. It is a dichotomy in the sense of you take on something or you abstain from something. But that is the specific difference. Now, the idea is that certain oaths and certain vows can be annulled. That is to say that even though they come from a place that's very high in the divine revelation, in the 10 Sfirot, in the tree of life, there is something that still comes before them. And through that place that is higher, you can annul a vow, right? And you can annul a vow, or if you took an oath, or if you lied when taking an oath, you bring a certain sacrifice, and then you are back on the path of righteousness. That is the main difference between them. The vow that Hannah made, it's said, is a Nazarite vow. Samuel, her son, traditionally was a Levite and a Nazarite, like myself, and my family is said, again, traditionally, to be from his family, from the family of Shmuel. Okay. Has your little black box fallen off your head, says Paul. No, I'm a Nazarite. I do not wear my phylacteries. I do not wear tefillin. I wore tefillin for many years. I no longer do that. The Nazarite man or woman either don't wear it or wear it all day. So even if I would be wearing it, it would be only until sundown, and then you take it off. So I don't wear my tefillin. Well, for different reasons, but I've spoken to a couple of other Nazarites who told me, and because this is something the Nazarite, no, I think I'm going to have to say goodbye. He might be falling asleep. I'll give him another minute or two. If he doesn't fall asleep, I will go up there and give him a bottle. Okay, let's continue. Do you come from a yeshivish background? I've went to yeshiva. I studied for 3 years in Tzfat and 1 year in Tkoa, but I'm not yeshivish in the ultra-Orthodox sense. So no, I come from a modern Orthodox background. I grew up modern Orthodox here in Jerusalem. I come from a yeshivish background and I'm struggling to find my place. Hey, I know what you mean. What I say is I'm off their derech. I'm on my derech. That's what I say. The thing is this. I was soul searching for a few years until I reached the point where I could say, yes, I no longer keep strict halacha, and it wasn't just to shirk my duties, not just to take the yoke of Torah and commandments off of my shoulders. No, I did it because this is actually what I'm supposed to be doing. And because of this, I don't deny that there's a chance that I will go back to keeping strict halacha in the future. But I could not abide by certain things that I was doing. I could not abide by certain things that not that I was doing, but yeah, also that I was doing at the time. So I took a step back from strict halacha. I still keep plenty of halacha, but not in the strict Orthodox sense. I understand your struggle to find your place. The Nazariteship is something of a lonely path, because I'm neither here nor there. Other Nazarites that I've met have been Orthodox rabbis, and they have a path, and they have the path of halacha, and I have taken the path that is different, that is my own, and I'm paying a price for that, for sure. I will say that it has been definitely worth it, and I hope that you will be able to find your place, whether inside or outside of organized religion. And I hope that even if you do... Even if you don't find your place in organized religion, I hope you find your place in Torah. Keep the Torah in your heart, keep it on your lips, keep it in your mind. It's a light, it's a guide. Truly it is. Choose life, choose Torah. Where are you located, Stargazer Dances says? In Jerusalem. Byron, are you Rastafarian? I am not. I do not worship Rastafari. Okay, I'm going to make him a bottle. Ooh, wait, he might be asleep. He might be going back to bed. No, okay, he's not going to go back to bed. Good people, it's almost been 2 hours. I thank you. I will say a quick goodbye. This has been lovely. If I didn't get to your chat, it wasn't on purpose. I don't mean to ignore you. Hit me up in the DMs or leave a comment. I address every single comment that is addressed to me. I make it my business to go and seek them out, even if YouTube does not notify me of them, and it does not notify me of plenty of them. So hit me up in the DMs if you want to talk one-on-one. Hebrew Nazarite, look for my tree on X, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and here, though there's no DMs here, but you get my point. Be blessed, be a blessing, be the light in other people's lives, be the light in your own life. May we know peace, may we know prosperity, may we know love, justice, humility, righteousness. Until the next time, I'll see you, and whenever it is, on the next live stream from Jerusalem, where the wonders never cease. This has been so much fun. I'm going to be up for like another hour or so. So if you want to have anything in the comments or in the DMs, hit me up. I'd love to have it. Thank you for being here. It's so much fun. So much fun. Good night and goodbye from Jerusalem. Until next time.